This is the world's first retro-hypercar, or at least that's what Kalmar claims. With a 0 to 60 time of just 2 seconds and almost twice the horsepower of a Porsche 911 Turbo S, it's definitely not your average Porsche resto mod. It was unveiled at the 2024 Monterey Car Week, but on the same day, Tuthill revealed something even more sensational, the GT1. These two beasts, along with 3 more epic projects, made it into my top 5 Porsche builds from the event. Let's get into it. Kicking off our list is Porsche's ridiculous one-off 993 Speedster. Back in 1954, Porsche importer Max Hoffmann persuaded Stuttgart to create a stripped-down, affordable purists version of the 356 America. The result was the 1500 Speedster, priced at just $2,995, which is about $35,000 in today's money. Yes, you heard that right, a brand new Porsche for $35,000. The concept was a hit, and since the late 80s, Porsche has occasionally revived the Speedster name for special edition 911s. One version of the 911 that didn't get much Speedsterization was the 993, produced between 1994 and 1998, notable for being the last air-cooled 911. In reality, only 2 993 Speedsters ever left Stuttgart, a green one built in 1995 for Ferdinand Alexander Porsche's 60th birthday, and a silver one crafted in 2001 for comedian Jerry Seinfeld. Good luck buying either one of those, but here's some good news for you. Porsche's Sonderwunsch division will custom build or modify pretty much any Porsche your wallet will allow, effectively working under you as the project manager. So when Italian designer Luca Trazzi decided to create a 993 Speedster, Sonderwunsch made it happen. 3 years in the making, Trazzi's 993 made its debut at the Quail during this year's Monterey Car Week. This fresh take on the 993 Speedster is based on the 1994 911 Carrera Cabriolet, with its most eye-catching feature being the auto yellow paint, named after Trazzi's dog, and the black and yellow fairing that extends from behind the rear seats into the bodywork. The body shape has been reworked with quarter panels and lower body trim, inspired by turbo variants and a slim, low-profile windshield reminiscent of the original 356 Speedster. Inside, black leather is accented with yellow checkered patterns, stitching, and trim. The powertrain and running gear stay true to the 993 Carrera RS, featuring a 3.8-liter flat-six engine delivering 300 horsepower. For a project like this, the fee starts at $100,000, but one imagine it very quickly and sharply climbs from there. But in a world where so many want their own special Porsche, this is the ultimate thing. 4th place. Singer's slant-nose Porsche 911 Turbo. First introduced as a coupe in 2022, the Turbo Study follows Singer's tradition of taking a 964 generation 911 chassis and backdating its appearance. In this case, the design draws inspiration from the Porsche 930, the original 911 Turbo built between 1975 and 1989. Singer offers the Turbo Study in Targa and convertible forms, in addition to the coupe, and now includes a slant-nose coupe among the options. Also known as the Flachbau or flat nose, the slant nose replaces the fixed headlights with pop-up units, creating a lower profile front end inspired by the Porsche 935 race cars. This design was originally a rare, special order option on the 930. I'm a big fan of pop-up headlights, and the ones here fit perfectly with the car's design, creating a smooth and balanced overall look. Like other Turbo Study builds, slant nose cars start out as donor 964 chassis supplied by the customer. These receive a full restoration, a twin-turbo 3.8-liter flat-six produces 450 horsepower as standard, and 510 horsepower with a sports-focused package. Power is sent to the rear wheels through a 6-speed manual transmission. Bosch traction control, electronic stability, and Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires make these Turbo Study cars less of a handful than the original 930 turbos. Singer will also tune the cars for performance or grand touring, depending on the customer's preference. Singer is allocating just 25 slant-nose coupe build slots, all of which have been spoken for. 3rd place, Kalmar's 9x9. The 9x9 is based on a mid-1990s 993 generation 911 and pays tribute to the iconic 959. The car received an entirely new carbon fiber body shell, double wishbone pushrod front suspension, optional rear axle steering, adaptive dampeners, titanium brake calipers, and carbon fiber rotors. The engine and transmission tech is also contemporary, being lifted from the 992 but with a ton of horsepower added. With all of these upgrades, there's almost nothing left of the original 993 donor. Kalmar offers the 9x9 in 3 versions. The fastest and most powerful is simply called the 9x9 and comes with all-wheel drive, a 7-speed PDK dual-clutch transmission, and a 3.8-liter flat-six from a 992 Turbo S. But instead of the stock 641 horsepower, Kalmar's version cranks out 917 horsepower with a claimed 0 to 60 miles per hour time of just 2 seconds. The 9x9 Sport offers a more civil 641 horsepower from a tuned 3.0-liter turbo engine from a 992 GTS, reaching 62 miles per hour in just 3.7 seconds. It's also lighter at 2,866 pounds, compared to the more powerful version's 3,031 pounds. This model comes with a choice of a 7-speed manual or PDK transmission. And lastly, there's the 9x9 Lightweight, which is like a backdated GT3. The naturally aspirated 4.0-liter 6-cylinder engine, borrowed from the 992 GT3, delivers 523 horsepower to the rear wheels through a 6-speed manual or optional PDK. Kalmar says it weighs just 2,756 pounds and hits 60 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds. One thing all 3 versions share is a crazy amount of downforce. Kalmar claims a peak of 3,263 pounds, though they don't specify what speed it needs to generate it. For some context, a stock 992 GT3 RS only generates 1,896 pounds of downforce at 184 miles per hour. Kalmar plans to build 9 examples of each version with a starting price of at least $2.1 million. Now, hear me out. Everything sounded fantastic until this point. Power, acceleration, carbon fiber body, all great, but $2.1 million? For that money, you could probably get yourself an original 959, if you can find one, of course. Anyway, let me know what you would pick if you had the choice. Second place, Roof Rodeo. 4 years ago, the Roof Rodeo concept gave us a sneak peek at the brand's off-road interpretation of a Porsche 911. That concept is now a reality with the 2025 Roof Rodeo, which made its debut at this year's The Quail, a motorsports gathering event. Everything, and I mean everything, in this car bears the Roof touch. The engine is a Roof-developed turbocharged unit, 3.6 liters, 6 cylinders, producing 610 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. It uses Roof's 6-speed manual transmission. The Roof designed and engineered all-wheel drive system is fully adjustable, letting the driver change front-to-rear power delivery via the center console, and there are front and rear limited slip differentials. The Rodeo is built on Roof's in-house carbon fiber monocoque chassis, but with even more off-road capability. The ride height has been raised to 9.5 inches, and the Roof integrated roll cage, made from high-strength steel, is attached to the monocoque at 4 different points. The suspension setup includes double wishbone suspension with pushrod actuated coilovers and electronically adjustable dampers, while Roof ceramic brakes sit behind forged center locking wheels. Despite all the off-road hardware, the whole thing weighs just 2,756 pounds. Inside, the brown leather somehow already looks like it carries a well-worn patina, and the patterns found on the car doors, seat inserts, and along the ceiling apparently draw inspiration from the Ralph Lauren Ranch. The traditional 5-gauge driver's cluster remains analog, and the only screen to be found is tucked down below your immediate eye line. Now, to the only downside. Production of the Roof Rodeo is set to begin soon, with a starting price of $1,250,000. Yep, it's steep, but let's be honest, people buying cars like this aren't too concerned about the price tag. And in first place, my personal favorite of all Porsche builds at the 2024 Monterey Car Week is Tuthill GT1. Fans of the 90s Exotica will instantly recognize that the Tuthill GT1 pays homage to the Porsche 911 GT1 race car and GT1 Strassen version. But instead of resto modding an old GT1, Tuthill built their own using a 993 chassis after Porsche declined to. Born of a collaboration between Richard Tuthill and film producer and car collector Elliot Ross, the GT1 is a limited series vehicle, of which only 22 will be built, and according to the company, each vehicle requires 3,500 build hours for completion and will be tailored to the preferences of the owner. Available in 2 versions, the GT1 is powered by a 4.0-liter flat-six engine, producing over 500 horsepower in its base form, or over 600 horsepower when turbocharged, singing through a twin-exit Inconel exhaust. Tuthill's naturally aspirated version is inspired by their own 911K engine, a 3.1-liter mill that revs to 11,000 RPM in a body that weighs only 1,874 2,294 pounds. The GT1 is a bit heavier at 2,646 pounds, just 100 pounds more than the original 911 GT1 Strassen version, but still a featherweight compared to modern behemoths. Thank carbon fiber for that, which is used in the construction of the doors, front and rear clamshells, and roof, replete with an integrated air intake. Once you've chosen your engine, you can select your gearbox too, either a 7-speed DCT as shown in the car's reveal at the Quail, or a 7-speed manual gearbox as seen in the 991 and 992.1 generation 911 sports cars. As for the chassis, double wishbone front and rear suspension with inboard dampeners, carbon ceramic brakes, and bespoke brake calipers keep the power and weight in check. The sleek lines and overall design come from Florian Flateau, a California-based designer who previously worked with Tuthill and Singer on the Singer all-terrain competition study. Here, he reinterpreted the 911 GT1's lines with his own flair, resulting in a stunning creation right down to the massive rear ducktail. Revealed in a muted gray tone, the body is entirely carbon fiber, concealing an FIA-approved rollover protection system, while carbon doors feature side impact protection. The bulging front fenders are topped with side view mirrors, and the wide rear fenders, which house 20-inch aerodisc style wheels, have hollow centers to channel air into the engine bay. The body has been aerodynamically optimized through CFD to ensure optimal airflow, but Tuthill hints that an optional aero package could be developed in the future to take the GT1 a step further for track adventures. But honestly, I think this creation is already perfect. What more could a Porsche enthusiast desire? Anyway, this is all I have for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.